Park the car.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Let's Talk Sports Fantasy Football Show. Bit different of a show today. I got a late start and an even better co-host with Nick Bodkins of the Bodkins Show hosting with me today. Nick, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Always, man. You can call on your reliable brother, always in a pinch. As an adopted Larrison brother, obviously we can kick Herb, and I've become your number one right-hand man. I keep telling you, though, when you introduce me, you got to say it's the reigning, defending. You got to give me the Paul Heyman treatment. LTS fantasy champion. Come on, let's try this again. You want to try to let's give me the Paul Heyman introduction. That's the only thing I ask, Ryan.
So hold on a second. I'm currently trying to look up your team's record right now in the league. I know my team sucks, but you're outside the playoffs right now. You're at 7.
No, I'm in the playoffs. I think I'm right in there. I think I'm in it.
You're at 7. There's only 6 teams, so you're on the outside looking in right now.
One win, that's it. Because I keep taking your shitty ass advice. That's the reason.
Well, last week, if you did, you definitely would have lost because I had so many bad calls. I told people to sit Pittman last week and Josh Downs, and they had all those 20-point games, top 10 weeks. Like, who would have known against Cleveland they would have done that? But, whatever. It's fine. We'll give you the Paul Heyman next time so we don't waste time. Right. I got no sponsors today. I'm not going to hit up Underdog and stuff. You guys know what to do there with the promo code LTS. I want to jump right into the Thursday night game because not only is it a massive game for Buffalo, they have to win this to stay alive in that division race. But on top of that, there's a lot of guys tonight that people are going to try and figure out who to play. And honestly, both defenses are pretty damn good. All the Thursday night games, for the exception, I think, of 1 or 2, are hitting the under. Every Tampa Bay game this year has hit the under, except for one Tampa Bay game so far this year. So it's tough to know what to expect in terms of touchdowns being scored, but it seems like the only locks tonight are Diggs, Josh Allen, and Mike Evans. And that's about it in terms of locks. Is there anybody else on the Bills other than Diggs and Josh Allen you're excited to play tonight against Tampa Bay?
No, because I don't know what the hell is going on in Buffalo. I mean, Jesus, what are they doing? What is wrong with them? I love Cook, and if you look at, we talk about this on my show every Sunday about the Bills. Like, what are they doing with Cook? Like, he is such a good running back. You look at his yards per carry, 4 yards per carry almost every game, and they only give it to him like 15 times. It's like they don't trust him. Like, run the damn ball, and he would be startable almost every week. But the fact is, they just don't want to run him. I do want to correct something. The Bills don't have a very good defense right now. Their defense is littered with injuries. Matt Milano, especially, he was the heart and soul of that defense. He's out for the year. We know White is out for the year. So they're kind of riddled with injuries. Let's see if Chris Godwin for the Bucs on the Bucs side. I know we're going to talk about the Bucs, but on the Bills, I mean, we know Dawson Knox is out. He got put on the IR today. He's out 4 weeks. So, I guess tight end wise, you can go to the kid if you're in a pinch. But Tampa Bay's defense is very underrated. So it's just Diggs and then Allen. And both this matchup tonight is 2 quarterbacks that will throw an interception or 2, I feel like.
Yeah, picks are coming. So I think the defenses are both honestly pretty good plays for fantasy purposes tonight. We got Seif, I think. Seif, I hope I said that correctly. He wants to know Jags defense or Bills defense tonight. Jacksonville plays, just so you got context for it. Oh, goodness gracious, where did it go? Jacksonville plays against the Steelers, 1 o'clock on Sunday. So Jags defense against that Steelers offense or Bills defense tonight against Baker Mayfield?
I just feel like the is really beat up, and Pittsburgh doesn't score a lot. So
no, they've got one of the lowest averages in the league.
Yes, their offense is, I mean, there's a reason why every Pittsburgh fan wants Matt Canada fired. I'd almost lean towards the Jags defense just for the I know Baker might give the Bills defense one, but their defense is so beat up. I just named. I'd lean towards the Jags defense, and I mean, and that's just because Pittsburgh could be fully healthy, and they may only score one touchdown and a field goal and win.
Yeah, and to even further that, like Nick said, Bills defense is beat up right now. They're doing okay against the pass. Over the past 4 weeks, they're still top 10, but against the run, they are bottom 8 against the run right now. So if Tampa wants to win that game, you're going to see a lot of running, which means less points scored on both sides of the ball and less opportunities for turnovers.
The problem with Tampa Bay is they can't run the damn ball either, no matter who it is, whether it's White or Vaughn. I do know Chase Edmonds. I think he's coming back soon for them, so maybe he'll take the bulk of that lead. But they seem to be sour on White. I think his average per game is only less than 3. So the last few outings. So they can't run the damn ball, and that's what hurts Baker. Baker needs a good run game, play action. He's a good play action quarterback, and they can't run the damn ball. So they probably won't be able to run the ball tonight either.
Yeah, White's been doing good catching out of the backfield, but the past 3 weeks have been pretty bad on the ground. So it's good. Like you said, Chase Edmonds, I know, that's a name that most fantasy people don't want to talk about anymore after last year's burns, but yeah, he's good. Like, he's got a high yards per carry pretty much every year except for last. And if he can start chunking up defenses, he could start taking some stuff away from Rachaad White. Tampa Bay side, I'm assuming you want to stay everywhere away from Baker Mayfield as a streamer this week, even if you're desperate.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, I feel like there's probably other quarterbacks out there that you could probably grab. I mean, I don't really know. It depends on what's out there, but yeah, I probably stay away from Baker if I have to.
Yeah, if a guy's outside my top 15, I usually try to stay away, and he's outside of it this week for sure. Mike Evans is an auto play every single week. What about Godwin? Godwin's been getting about 10 targets every week. You think he's okay to play tonight against Buffalo's banged up defense?
Yeah, he's favorable. He does have I think a neck issue, but they said he's full go tonight. Baker's banged up too, so that's probably also one of the reasons you may not want to play Baker. I'm playing Chris Godwin, so I'm going to say go ahead and play him. So if I'm going to, you're right. He has been getting the 10. Everything for him is underneath. He doesn't have a lot of touchdowns, but he is getting the looks.
Yeah, he's on pace to put up the Deontay Johnson line of like 90 catches, but no touchdowns this year. So
yeah.
We'll see if he can turn that around. The last one, Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis had a really bad week last week. I think he had a bad week before that, but he was on fire for like the first month of the year. Are you taking the shot tonight at a big game potentially, or just look the other way?
I'd probably, if there's something better, you probably can look the other way. Tampa Bay's defense is really good. I think people underestimate how good their defense is, and it's really led by that second. And their wins, Tampa's defense has played well. Tampa Bay's getting the points at, I think it was 10.5 on Monday when I looked at it. I haven't looked at it if it's come down tonight, but I would probably I took the Bucks with the points, and I would probably, I'd take away. I probably wouldn't play Gabe Davis.
So I got 2 things on here that just kind of went across my wire. Deontay Johnson, he's not practicing again today now with the same hamstring injury, so that might be a re-aggravation. So if you got him, keep an eye on that. That's horrible because he just came back. He looked pretty good in his return too. And then
yeah, and if
go ahead.
I got Pickens, and he helped out. He helped Pickens, right? Because he can't cover George Pickens, so that helped him. And Pickens is elite enough. George Pickens could be a top 10, 15 wide receiver in the league if they just air it out to him a little bit more. But the problem is, I believe Matt Canada's play calling is awful.
Yeah, they need people to take coverage off of him. I mean, Pat Freiermuth is missing now too. Next 3 weeks at least. So that's bad news for them. Maybe it's even better for your Jags defense pick over Buffalo there too, because if there's no Deontay Johnson, they should have an easier time. And then this is from a CBS account. Apparently, the Bills are trying to get a hold of Derrick Henry in a trade from the Titans.
Why? So they'd only run him 10, just like they do the Cook kid. I about said Dalvin Cook, but
it's tough, man. Like, of course, that's a good move if you make it because you get Derrick freaking Henry. But at the same time, like James Cook has one of the highest yards per carry in the league. I agree with you completely. Why not use him more? Like, give him the shots when you're down closer to the goal line. Like, Latavius Murray is friggin' 30 years old and can barely move at this point, and you're just handing him the ball every time you get close. It's no wonder you're not scoring touchdowns when you're inside the 10.
The team I'd like to see trade for Derrick Henry is Baltimore. They don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
I agree.
You're like, that's the, you know, are you going to keep running out Gus Edwards? And I don't really think he's the answer. You know, he is what it is right now. Why not Derrick Henry on a 1-year deal? Because I don't think, according to Mr. First Down, his deal's pretty much you can cut him after bait. But the problem is a lot of teams, too, aren't calling on the Titans. Titans are going to have to pay some of that money that is owed to Derrick Henry because he's owed a lot of money this year, and teams aren't going to take that hit. But the Ravens got the team, right? Like, they're a Super Bowl-worthy team. You had Derrick Henry, so it's just playing really well right now. Man, it could be something.
And Henry's been an underrated pass catcher the past couple of years. Like, that was never in his playbook. And now the past 2 years, he's been catching all the things that have been thrown at him. So I think he fits perfect. Like, Baltimore, one, for fantasy, if he goes to Baltimore, he somehow improves his stock, which usually in a trade, they lose fantasy stock, but he would be even more of a smash start pretty much every week. And then on top of that,
last year they made the big trade for CMC, and look what they did. They got all the way to the NFC Championship game. And if Baltimore makes the same kind of move for Derrick, go all in. You know what I mean? The options, the time is now. It's a tough AFC, and you're right there at the top, Kansas City, and separate yourself. And making a trade for Derrick Henry would do that for you.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to try and find a way if you get into the playoffs to get past like KC and stuff. Derrick Henry is going to make that a lot easier of a task if you can acquire him. But then again, that's probably what Buffalo's thinking too. I mean, it's possible. Oh, there's Mr. First. Larrisons are not dummies. Yeah. Well, he might be also talking about you there since you're an honorary Larrison. So that's not like the nicest thing he's probably ever said to you, Nick.
Yeah, no, Sam, he loves me. I just don't like him. So, you know, he tries to kiss my ass.
Like you said with Henry, they got to eat that contract, at least part of it. And that I think that's the same thing with Hopkins, because you see Hopkins' name tossed around all the time, and he got paid a really good amount in the offseason this year for that 1-year deal. So they got to suck up some money here. And I mean, they gave away Kevin Byard to us for a 5th and a 6th, for God's sake. So I'm assuming that we took on more money of that than they were, you know, expecting to take. That's why we only gave up so little for him. But thank you, Tennessee, again. Because now I got AJ Brown and Kevin Byard from you for like a 5th, a 6th, Terrell Edmonds and Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
He says impossible. Everybody loves him. I love you, Mr. First Down, but you know, Nick's a tougher nut to crack. That's okay.
I do love saying, like, give him a hard time.
That too. Plus, he's fun to make given a hard time too. All right, man. I'll run through these rankings real quick since we're going to do a shorter show today. Quarterback, I'm going to run through my top 15, and then if you see anybody on the list you want to talk about real quick, we'll hit them up. Hurts at 1, Mahomes at 2, Lamar at Arizona at 3, Herbert against Chicago at 4. I got Josh Allen tonight at 5. I think that's the lowest I've had him all year. Tua's at 6, Goff at 7, Trevor Lawrence 8, CJ Stroud coming back off the bye at 9, Burrow at 10, Cousins at 11, 12 is Dak, 13 Jordan Love, 14 Sam Howell, 15 Brock Purdy. Anybody you want to talk about real quick on that list?
Nah, I mean, Jordan Love is, as a Packers fan, I could go on a tangent about fucking Jordan Love, but he just can't throw the ball deep downfield. You're not getting any big plays. He's worthy of starting in fantasy because he does somehow find the end zone at least twice, and he his yards isn't very great though. That's the thing. So, but
Yeah,
man,
he has somehow found a way to be a QB1, so top 12, 4 out of 6 games. And I've watched all of them
yeah,
because I've had to for work. And I don't know how the hell it's happening because he doesn't look good right now, man.
no, it's awful. The whole team doesn't look good. It's not just him, but he's part of the problem. I think Joe Burrow's going to start getting it going. I hope this bye week. I hope he gets healthier, and I could see him climbing up your rankings in the next few weeks. I know it's weird because they got a tough matchup with I think they play the 49ers this week, and it's almost a must-win game for both teams. 49ers, Brock Purdy, who knows if he's playing? He's got a concussion protocol. And then, Burrow coming off the bye, hopefully resting that calf that's bothered him. He's looked awful, but looking better the last 2 weeks. But, man, both of that game's going to be very interesting because I think it's a must-win game for both. Cincinnati needs to keep winning to continue to catch up with and the 49ers. They lose 3 in a row after looking like, we're now if they lost 3 in a row, that would be devastating to them because then Seattle's right there and takes the lead.
Yeah, and honestly, I had him a little bit higher. I only dropped him because of no Brock Purdy, and the reason I say that is I just think that they're going to handle San Francisco a little easier. I got Cincinnati winning that game. I don't think they're going to need Burrow to throw 3 touchdowns. I think that they'll be able to do enough with Mixon, and if he doesn't hit 2 touchdowns because they're finding a way to score on the ground, then Burrow's going to have a bad fantasy week while still looking like a great quarterback. So I'm just kind of hedging my bets there, if you will. Let's move on to the RBs. I'll go to 15 again. McCaffrey at 1, Travis Etienne 2, a struggling Austin Eckler at 3, but he gets Chicago. Kamara at 4, Brees Hall 5, Pacheco 6, Pollard 7, Raheem Mostert 8, Saquon 9, Swift at 10, Gibbs at 11, Ken Walker at 12, 13 JT, 14 Bijan, and then 15 Josh Jacobs. Anybody on there you want to talk about?
Yeah, what the fuck is going on with Josh Jacobs? I mean, Jesus. I mean, as the Josh Jacobs fantasy owner, yeah, I am one, and we are all frustrated. I think I speak for all Josh Jacobs, fantasy owners. What the fuck is going on? And I'm an Austin Eckler owner too, in the same team. And so those were my picks 1 and 2, and they have let me first half of the season. I need both them boys to get it going. So that's kind of what I would say. Jahmyr Gibbs, he looked. I mean, he finally got his touchdown. How much are they going to continue to give it to him? I know Monty's out, but that's pretty much it. I really like Ken Walker Jr. still. Some of these teams, it's just like, man, will their teams give them the ball, right? Like Jacobs, like what's going on there? Like even Bijan at times, it seems like they get away from him a lot. So that's kind of where we're at.
You put it to you this way, because like you said, with the running back score, that they're not feeding some of these guys. I did my favorites and fades video this morning that I release on Saturdays. And one of the guys that I don't like this week is Brian Robinson, because the past 3 weeks he's been garbage. I've had him on some teams. He hasn't done anything for me. He's still somehow over the past 3 weeks a top 20 running back in scoring. That's how bad the scoring has been for running backs over almost the past month. And he's not even in this top 24. Like, that's how bad it's been. So I totally get it. And then for Jacobs, in terms of Eckler, I think you're fine with Eckler. I think it's just, he's still coming off the ankle injury. He gets the smash matchup against Chicago. He should do something on Sunday night. We'll see. Hopefully he does. And if not, his coach is going to get fired if they lose that game, and then maybe they'll, use him the right way.
Yeah, his coach should have been fired. But the problem is they OC and Kellen Moore is he's about as dumb as Staley is. So I mean, you're just gonna swap out idiot for it's like swapping Harry out for Lloyd and Dumb and Dumber.
And they kind of look like that too, especially Kellen Moore. Jacobs, yeah, man, I don't know. It's just that team sucks. The team sucks. They can't run block to save their lives, and Jacobs just is not getting all the yards after contact that he did last year. So I don't know what to tell you there. Just rough stuff. Let's go to wide receiver real quick. So Tyreek, I have him at 1, but if this injury is a serious problem, he'll drop. I got Diggs at 2 for
He told.
tonight. Go ahead.
I did get a media update today that says Tyreek is playing. Tyreek told the media how much he's going to play. You know what I mean? That could be worrisome, but you got to play him. If you're Tyreek Hill, it doesn't. If he says he's playing, no matter what, if he plays 10 snaps, he could get 10 balls on all of those, and one of them could be for a 75-yard touchdown. So you got to play him.
Yeah, this could turn into he plays 40% of snaps, but he's targeted on every single one of those snaps that he plays.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see that. Yeah, you have him, you play him. Status throughout the week. I got Diggs at 2, AJ Brown at 3, Chase at 4, Keenan Allen 5, Cooper Kupp at 6. I think that's the lowest I've had him since he's come back. Devontae Adams at 7, Amon-Ra 8, Brandon Ayuk 9, CD at Lamb at 10, 11 is Puka, 12 is Thielen, 13 Evans in tonight's game, 14 Devonta Smith, and then 15 Zay Flowers against that horrible friggin' Arizona defense. Anybody you want to talk about on this list that you have any stakes in?
I don't have not really. I think it's the Cooper Kupp thing is just weird because last week he absolutely did nothing. And who would lead the league in catches? I never even heard of this kid. So good find for the Rams and good find for anybody that was able to get him like week after week 1 on the waiver wire because he's killing it. Adam Thielen, same thing. It's just like another guy that's just like, man, he is killing it. It's just that's all they throw to is Adam Thielen. So,
yeah, you're not kidding. He is literally just force-fed all the targets. People are worried because they're changing from Frank Reich calling plays to the OC calling plays. That's not going to matter. It's all about who Bryce Young wants to throw to, and he's only thrown to Adam Thielen. Trust me, as a Miles Sanders manager, he doesn't throw to anybody else but Adam Thielen, so there's no reason to worry about it.
Interception. Those are the 3 options when every time he drops back. They are guessing complete, an interception, or it's Adam Thielen. So
yep, 100%. And you know what? That's fine. If it's an interception, we just don't play Bryce, but we can play Adam Thielen every week.
You're in a bad spot.
I don't even play him in 2 QB leagues. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up with the tight ends. Kelsey at 1, obviously. I got Darren Waller at 2 this week. The Jets give up the most fantasy points to tight ends so far this year, so he should have another really good week. Mark Andrews at 3, Laporta at 4, George Kittle at 5, Goddard at 6, TJ Hawkinson at 7, Ingram at 8, Dalton Kincaid at 9 without Dawson Knox tonight. I think he's a good play this week against Tampa. Dalton Schultz at 10, Hunter Henry at 11, Kyle Pitts at 12, and then you got the streamers of Taysom Hill at 13, Michael Mayer at 14, 15 Jake Ferguson against the Rams. Who are you playing at tight end this week? Because I don't remember if you got any of these elite guys up at the top that you play every week.
I don't have anybody. I think in our league I might have. I don't know who I have. I thought I had Darren Waller maybe, but that might be a different league. I know I got my big money league, and he's been nice. Nice little streamer that's really just playable every week. And I know if you don't have Travis Kelce, Andrews, or Laporta, or even Kittle, it's just a shit on shit, really. That's tier 1, and then you have the top. That's obviously the level, and then there's like middle shit where you're like, I guess it's just not shit. And then after those, then it's just shit. And then it's other shit on top of shit. So it's really just roll it up in a dice and just throw it out there and see what the fuck you get, and just pray to God that it is what it is.
I think that's the most eloquent sentence or run-on sentence that I think you've ever put on in your entire life. So that's good there. I have Hunter Henry as the guy that is like the most available streamer this week that I like. When he played Miami back in week 2, he was like the tight end 2.
Why are you so high on Hunter Henry? That Patriots outside last week, that Patriots offense hasn't done dip shit. Like they haven't done anything.
I'm a little bit higher on them after last week because I think that they're starting to kind of it seems to me now that they're playing with reckless abandon. They don't give a shit if they lose because their team is terrible. So instead of trying to play conservative a little bit, Mac Jones is like, okay, I'm finding the deep route on every one of these plays that Bill Belichick has given to me, and I'm going to just throw it on the deep route. And that's why Kendrick Bourne had his good week last week. So if they're going to be a little more reckless, I'm down for that. Hunter Henry, the last time he played him in week 2, he was the number 2 tight end overall on the week against Miami. So I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get in that Miami game when it comes to guaranteed targets like Hunter Henry gets, because he almost never gives a 0. I think he's given 1-0 on the year. And for a tight end of his caliber for fantasy, that's pretty damn rare with how we've been treated this year. So,
yeah, Kyle Pitts, I guess I see you got him at 12. Again, he's just in that mixed bag because you just never know what you're going to get out of him. It seems like some weeks it's Jonnu, some weeks it's Kyle Pitts. Who the hell knows what Atlanta's doing? I would, if I'm Atlanta, I would probably trade Kyle Pitts. I would look at trading him. Like they don't use him. Like they don't use him the way you think you would want to use. Is like more of like the Travis Kelce type. And I know that doesn't really seem to fit Arthur Smith's mold, but trade him with somebody else.
No, I agree. I mean, they're going to get a lot for Pitts if they actually trade him. He's too young. He's too talented. Yeah. And if he goes somewhere where they're going to use a tight end, dude, could you imagine if he was in Green Bay? Like Musgrave gets
I like Musgrave, but
all the time.
Yeah. Like somebody
phenomenal.
Yeah. Like line him out as a receiver almost, that Travis Kelce type role and let him go to work.
Yeah, Arthur Smith just hates fantasy. So he literally shares the snaps. I looked at his snap share. It's been his top snap share has been 55% over the past 3 weeks. And Jonnu has been 55% as well. So they just literally one play it's Jonnu, and then he runs off the field, and then it's Kyle Pitts the next play. And then they just trade back and forth. So it's I've never heard of a tight end timeshare, but we're with this team, which I just don't understand. Terrible. All right. Like I said, we're going to run the show a little bit shorter since we started late. Didn't get a lot of questions, but that's fine. We got through the Thursday night game. Nick, do you got any questions that you want to ask for fantasy stuff for the week before we head off? So I can give you terrible advice.
Yeah, I already asked you. So I pretty much I asked you about Roshan and Kendrick Bourne. You told me to play Roshan, so it probably means I should probably play Kendrick Bourne and see what happens. So you know what I mean.
Yeah, you go the opposite way. It usually pans out when it comes to me. So go ahead and do that. Well, thank you for joining me, Nick. I appreciate you hopping on instead of Matt, since he had his thing going on while the show was going on. Go ahead and plug all your stuff, man, because you got about 50 shows compared to my one every single week. So.
No, I don't. I just can show tonight is the Let's Talk Sports Show will be live 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. To do all our we'll talk a little baseball, World Series, then we're going to release our first NBA power power rankings, and then the second half of the show we'll be making all our picks. So against the spread on third for week through the season. Or week 7? Are we week 7? We're halfway home. So
yeah, week 8 now.
Yeah,
week 8 this week, man. It's already leaving our system.
Yeah, I mean, we're halfway through. I know in my big money league, we're halfway through the season, so now it's like real crunch time. So you can't just say it's early. It's time to start fucking games here.
Yep. They all count now, baby. All right, guys. Thanks for everyone that joined us. We will see you guys on Thursday, and then Saturday, go catch my favorites and fades video at 8 o'clock on Fantasy Football for the People's YouTube channel. Take it easy, everybody.
See you guys.